New Overwatch update today. Oh wow, there's a new hero. Look at that. So there's a podcast I've been watching a lot of recently. This podcast is the Baited Podcast. It's a podcast that is with Keemstar, Colossal's Crazy, and Tommy C. Now, when I look at the comments, I usually see a lot of people talking about usually stuff like, oh, who's Tommy C? Why is he on the podcast? Or this podcast would be better without so-and-so. But I personally think all three of them equally contribute to the podcast. Everyone provides their own unique point of view, and the different opinions just conflict perfectly with each other. Tends to make every discussion really interesting to listen to. For the most part, how the podcast goes, it's usually Keemstar and Colossal on one side of the issue, and then you've got Tommy C, who's like, I wouldn't even say in the middle, but he's like more on his own fence, so to speak. He's usually the one that provides a completely different point of view on an issue compared to everyone else, as well as usually being the one to add the more thought-provoking points to each discussion. Like, he's the one who brings up the stuff that really makes you think about things. And I feel like if any of these people got taken off the podcast, it would completely ruin it for me. Unless you're able to find a complete duplicate, then I have no idea, and I guess it would still work. But if you've seriously never heard of this podcast, or have just never listened to it, it's definitely worth your time to go out and check out. They release all their episodes on YouTube, which I'll make sure to add into the description of the video. But if YouTube doesn't work for you, they release all their episodes on SoundCloud and iTunes as well. I just really wanted to get the word out there about this podcast, because it's really interesting to listen to, and all the discussions are great. And I'd say it's by far the most interesting podcast I've ever listened to myself. So again, if you want to go check it out, I'll have links in the description, and that's about it for this shitty clickbait video.